with Ted continues on News Talk 1010.
Well, we got some rain in the forecast today and tomorrow. Temperatures around where we sit now, 5 degrees. Monday, sun and cloud. Tuesday, sun and cloud. And the highs 6, then 9. Wednesday and Thursday, we're up around 12 and 13 degrees, but there's a good chance of rain. And then the rain goes away, and it's sunny and cloudy Friday, but cooling down to 7. 6 degrees at News Talk 1010. You're hearing Bill on this beautiful Roland digital keyboard is what it is. Or is it digital piano?
It's a digital grand.
A digital.
It's called the Roland V piano.
It's called the V piano, and this is the V Grand because there are two versions of it. One doesn't have any of this cabinetry. It's all looks like a typical electric keyboard.
But another thing.
Hold on, and that is the voice of Glen Morley.
Yes,
Toronto-based composer, conductor, and musical director, and also the musical director for It's Always Something.
That's right.
The Gilda's Place, at least, fundraiser later this month. Yes, sir.
You were asking earlier about the cost of something like this.
Yes.
The regular grand piano, great grand piano could be $50,000, $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 for the great pianos. And this would run what, Glenn?
It'd be under $15,000 for this.
Amazing.
But is that a grand or is that a baby grand?
Well, again, the distinction is the cabinet would be a baby grand, but whatever you want to come out of it is possible.
All right.
So it's a little bit of a false comparison, but it is cabinetry as if it was the kind of furniture you expect with a grand piano.
Okay. So we've got about 6 minutes. Let's sample some of the things that we
you
can
call
do
it
with
out.
this thing.
Okay. Well, you just played marvelously, as you always do. Let's start with first of all, I should explain that this piano uses modeling, not sampling. And modeling works in a mathematical way as opposed to samples. And samples are where you take the sound of a real piano, you record it, you layer all of those things together, but it's a snapshot in time. The difference on modeling is that it takes a model of the sound, and then there's a fairly high-speed computer working inside to make extrapolations and so forth. So you can make pretty much any piano you want, in fact, ones that you can imagine. We're going to touch on that in a second. So the first thing is, this is a model of one of the great German sounding or Austrian instruments, the Vienna Grand, which it isn't a Bösendorfer, but it is similar to a Bösendorfer in terms of sound. So, Bill, why don't you play something there? Just give some high end and low end so you can hear the contrast. So you can hear a lot of resonance in both ends and in the center. If you play something fairly simple, Bill, just in the center there, and if you use the damper pedal a little bit, you'll hear that. Right. Now, supposing this was to be played on a honky-tonk, right? So there's been a model put in of a honky-tonk. There you go. How that's achieved.
Give me a shot of red eye.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So one of the characteristics of a honky-tonk piano is it comes about because the thing's A, out of tune, usually, and B, the hammers are hammered, as it were. They've had it. They become so hard and brittle that they're just striking with a lot different sound than the felts would be on a piano that's well maintained. Okay. So if we go back now, what have you got up now? The German Grand. Let's hear the difference on that sound. So you hear this, what I would call the blossoming of the sound, And every piano, even a piano from the same lot, an acoustic piano made by any of the great manufacturers, they'll have similar characteristics, but everyone has its own personality. And a lot of times, this is the big deal for people is, does the piano speak to you? And I guess, Bill, does it?
It's talking.
It's talking to you. Yeah. The thing about an instrument is that lots of times the most expensive instruments don't speak to a player very well. And what nobody else can play. They can play brilliantly, and that's the only, there are many examples in jazz of terrible instruments that are great players.
I'm looking at this thing. It says 13.5 feet, and I think catamaran. Right?
Yeah.
What is this?
Well, again, there are model. Yeah, let's nail the low end there. Are we hurting you in there, Mike? I don't know. Yeah, we are. The engineer is nodding that 13-foot low end might be a little bit much for him.
That was great.
But that piano doesn't really exist, but it could exist. Now, here's the thing about modeling. The strings could be made out of different wire, for example. And one of the things they could be made out of is silver, right, as opposed to the various steel and brass and other kinds of combinations that are used in conventional things. So once you know that you've got a particular model, you can now extend it. So, for example, most acoustic instruments, they'll have single strings, but three of them at the top, and then they get down smaller, two strings, but they're wound, and then single strings at the bottom, they're wound. What if everything was triple wound? So
that's what's happening there.
That's what that triple wound one, that particular model is.
We have one less left, and I think me and Ted want to go to Paris, don't you?
We have 1.5 minutes.
Okay, just a quick trip to Paris.
All right, let's go to Paris. Okay. Which one are you going to use?
This is for Becky.
Okay.
Yeah. That's an interesting sound.
It is.
Really
it is.
Well, Mike, you want more? Wait a minute.
Okay.
Where's my song, Bill?
He's dialing. And which one?
Last minute of play in this period.
Yeah, okay.
No song for Mike. That's fine. Oh, thanks, Bill. That was great.
Not a really, not a really great song necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah. For the second
sound.
movement.
The second movement is
It
fairly much the same.
moves a little more.
Yeah, we changed one key.
Yeah. Anyway, people get an idea of
Yeah.
what can be done with this instrument.
Spectacular.
And it really is, it speaks to you. It doesn't speak the way that older electronic instruments have,
And if you want to buy one of these for somebody
Christmas.
you love, you can do so.
Yeah.
Just go to Robert Lowrey. It's ask him, give me that Roland I heard on Ted's show.
That's right. And send it to my house now.
Yeah.
But I want to thank Robert. Robert, this is quite gentlemanly of you. Send this
Yes,
piano
it
today.
is.
It's a
Yes.
gorgeous piano. Thank you.
And Glen Morley, thank you.
Yes,
It's great seeing you again.
Great to be seen.